What does a vampire look like? Forget the cape, forget the castle. According to our ancestors, it looked like your neighbor, your father, your child, someone who died and then didn't. And when the crops failed or the plague came, they knew who to blame. Not a creature of the night, but the body in the churchyard. This is the story written not in books, but in broken bones and twisted iron. This is the archaeology of pure panic. Our story begins long before Dracula. We're in Neolithic Poland, 1400 BC. Here, archaeologists found a body buried face down, a heavy stone crushing its jaw. This wasn't disrespect. This was the first line of defense, preventing the corpse from eating its way out of the shroud or speaking curses from the grave. Fast forward to medieval Europe, the vampire of Venice, a 16th century woman skull found with a brick forced into her mouth. This practice, called shoring, was believed to stop a vampire from feeding, from breathing, from chanting spells. It was a permanent gag order from the living. And in 14th century Ireland, a man was buried with 2 large stones hammered into his mouth. The message was simple, brutal, and terrified: stay quiet. But the epicenter of the vampire burial is the Slavic world. Here, the rituals become systematic and horrifyingly logical. In Bulgaria and Serbia, vampire skeletons are found pierced with iron rods through the chest. Not a wooden stake, a blacksmith's cold-forged spike, driven with industrial force. This wasn't just to pin the body. Iron was believed to have purifying, magical properties to trap the soul. Then there is the sickle throat. Bodies are found with a sharp iron farming sickle laid across the neck, blade side in. The logic? If the vampire tried to sit up in its grave, it would decapitate itself. They turned the corpse into its own executioner. And in perhaps the most definitive act, we find decapitated burials, with the skull placed carefully between the knees, or away from the body. Severing the head was the ultimate way to sever the will, ensuring the spirit could never find its way back to its physical form. Why would communities do this to their own dead? The answer lies at the crossroads of biology and blind terror. First, misunderstood decomposition. Before modern embalming, a body bloats with gases. This pressure can force blood to seep from the mouth, making the corpse look well-fed. It can make the corpse groan, shift, or even sit up as ligaments contract. To a grieving, terrified community, this wasn't natural decay. This was proof of life. Second, contagion. When a mysterious illness, like the tuberculosis plagues of the 18th century, swept through a village, killing family after family, it seemed to spread from the graveyard outward. The logical, horrifying conclusion? The first victim was feeding on the rest from beyond the grave. These anti-revenant rituals were a desperate public health measure. A gruesome attempt to stop an epidemic by nailing down its perceived source.
So were they right? Were these people vampires? No. The real monster wasn't in the grave. It was the perfect storm of ignorance, grief, and contagion that turned loved ones into demons. The vampire was a diagnosis for the inexplicable, and the burial was a brutal, logical cure. These mutilated graves are not proof of the supernatural, they are fossilized fear. The final, tragic record of people trying to fight a shadow with a stake, a stone, and a scream into the dark. The need to punish the dead is perhaps one of our oldest horrors. Which of these burial methods do you find the most chilling, the practical brutality of the sickle, or the intimate violence of the mouth brick? Let me know below. If you're fascinated by how the ancients weaponized architecture itself, go back and watch Architects of Fear right here. And subscribe to follow us into the next dark corner of history. Next time we confront the original zombies, the Ekimmu and the Draugr, the vengeful spirits that walked long before the walking dead. Until then, sleep well.